First of all, I would like to say thank you for all the feedback after my first try, after the first episode. And also thank you for the special requests. I really, really enjoyed that. Some people were involved enough to ask for something. So I decided in this episode I will talk about the very best encounter I have ever had with great white sharks. In September 2016, I was guiding a full boat, which was almost 20 people, to Guadalupe Island, which is a small island in the Pacific, around 1 day navigation away from the shore. And this is the place around the globe where you can see great white sharks in the biggest numbers and in the best conditions with best visibility. Normally, we spend out here 4 to 5 days with the sharks. So, obviously, the amount of time in the water with these beautiful creatures is just simply more than if you would go for a few hour tour in South Africa, where in very, very low visibility conditions you could meet these sharks. In the first day in the morning, we set up very quickly. We lowered the cages in the water, the baiting started, and the first shark showed up relatively quick. It came, checked out the bait, and started to swim around the cage, not too close, sometimes coming close enough with the bait, but never stayed too long. Obviously, we started to get in the cages as quick as possible. It was 4 people per cage, and normally we changed each other around every 20 minutes. The water was pretty cold. And after a while, since the water was cold and there was only one shark which didn't spend too much time right next to the cage, after lunch the people just started to stay at the tables and hang around and talk, which is normal. The crossing from Ensenada was pretty rough, so most of the people were hiding in their cabins and were seasick, so this was the chance to socialize and get to know each other. But I'm not famous about these socializing moments, especially not when there's a chance to see sharks outside. So I decided to leave my group, got into my wetsuit, and got into one of the cages. When I got in the water, the baiting was still happening, but there was no shark around. Obviously, with no people in the cages, the baiting was not that actively happening. But in a few more minutes, the first shark appeared. It started to swim around, get more curious, probably having only one person in the cage helped, and it started to get closer. Then, a few minutes later, the second shark came. And this shark really just came out of the blue from under the cage. It was just an amazing experience how it was swimming towards the cage, then passing really, really close to it, almost touching it. Being there alone with these sharks, with the beautiful blue ocean, it was an experience I could never even dream of. But it got better. I was still alone in the cage when the third shark, and then eventually the fourth shark came around. So I got to spend maybe 20, 30 minutes alone in the cages. There's nobody else around. And at the end, there are 4 sharks circling pretty close to me. It was a really, really insane, awesome, awe-inspiring experience. These sharks around Guadalupe are in between 3 to 5 meters usually, and we had a couple of pretty big females around. So these sharks are definitely bigger than the cages, sometimes bigger than the 2 cages together, and they got touching distance from the cage. It's just something you need to try, you need to experience to really believe it. These are the absolute apex predators of the ocean. Other than the orcas, they have no natural predators. They are there on the island to hunt the elephant seals. So you can see that they're all confident. They know that you are there, they acknowledge you, and they're definitely not scared. This crazy, amazing solo experience ended abruptly when one of the customers jumped into the cage without any wetsuit. All my respects to him. When they heard, I think that there are 4 sharks around the cage, they got so excited, and he got so excited that he decided to get in without a wetsuit, which in that cold water was something. Then a couple of minutes later, all the others came, they got their wetsuits and gear on, and eventually I just left the cage and let the other people enjoy the show. After this moment, there was always at least 2, sometimes 3, and up to 6 sharks around the cages. We always had multiple sharks around. But this was the only time when I was alone in the cage, when there was only one person out of the 8 spots, and I could enjoy this solitude with the sharks. It's something I will never ever forget. This is the short story how I spent some time in the cage with 4 great white sharks around in Guadalupe Island in Mexico. If you like this video and also think sharks are beautiful creatures, please help to spread the word and explain to people that sharks are not dangerous to humans, that sharks do not infest waters, but they actually live in the oceans, and that protecting them is vitally important to be able to keep the ocean's ecosystems alive. Thank you.